Go drop like rain, nigga, watch me hit those trees.
Alright, welcome back. It's time for another video, and today's topic is why the Anbu is bad, and there are a lot of reasons for that, and a lot of people have talked about this already, so I'll skim over the points we've already heard a million times, and I'll really try to flesh out the reasons I think the Anbu falls flat. But first, what is the Anbu? And I mean in totality, not just function, but starting with the function. In world, the Anbu is an elite group of highly skilled and experienced ninja directly under the control of the Kage of the village, and usually take care of what we would consider the actual ninja missions, such as stealthy assassinations, recon, maybe even a sabotage here and there. And although this isn't necessarily the case, a lot of people like to place Anbu as a level between Jonin and Kage, but I believe that's because of how the Anbu were explained and introduced. They make it seem as if the Anbu members have a certain threshold of strength that's well above Jonin. However, the biggest criteria for being an Anbu member would be the ability to kill indiscriminately, which wouldn't necessarily take strength. And I should mention that as the show goes on, it goes from there being about 15 Anbu in the Leaf max to it growing to the point where there is like a whole system above the one we already established. Almost like going from middle school to high school and then realizing there's a such thing as college. Like, Danzo's organization, The Root, had about 100 members that operated on the same level as Anbu, and is why most people think that they're the same thing, and then seeing them go on to not protect the Hokage, jump headfirst into an obvious chakra barrier, and end up a device to show how strong someone else is, kinda makes them a joke. And then they all but get erased by the war arc. But I think had the Anbu been introduced as a small squad of like 10 ninja with unique and unorthodox skills, individually weak, but their teamwork makes them unstoppable. And if you want, you can mix it up for other villages and have their quote-unquote Anbu be built from different sources, like the strongest or the smartest, and I personally think the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist should have been their version of the Anbu, and I think if each village had their own unique Anbu system, it would have felt more impactful to have someone beat a group with all that teamwork, and conversely, it would actually make it so we get hyped for the Anbu's arrival, because oftentimes the Anbu show up unceremoniously and at the beginning of the fight, or we're already there doing nothing. Either way, it means when the action kicks off, the Anbu play their hand immediately and have to be backseated in order for the main characters to shine. But that brings me to my next point. The Anbu has no one we spend any amount of time with. And yes, Itachi and Kakashi were Anbu, but not when we meet them, and there is no main cast representation for the current Anbu throughout the entire series. The closest we get is Itachi, but Itachi is not undercover on a mission. He is actually ostracized and hated by not only his village, but the others too. But hold on, let's think about this for a second. Let's just say one of the Konoha 12 became a member of the Anbu during the time skip, which actually would have been pretty compelling as a parallel to Kakashi's flashback arc. We could have gotten a look at how the Anbu had changed after Kakashi and Itachi's runs left an impact on how they operate. And we could have seen at least a little mini arc where the one who makes it into the Anbu drifts away from the others, and instead of going down the darkness angle like Kakashi's story, just show how draining it is and how exhausted they are and how at any moment, even something like a funeral or their own wedding, if they're called upon, they have to leave right then and there, no questions asked. And on top of all of that, it would have given us a reason to care about what the Anbu were doing, period. Like, if there's a character we know and love in the Anbu, it's a lot more suspenseful when you send them on a dangerous mission versus just saying, oh, we sent some Anbu to ABC and 123 didn't come back, or they were just slaughtered. And it can't just be me. Whenever I witness that trope of a squad we barely or never see get sent on a mission we don't see, and they just go, nobody made it back, big bad, much sad, every time it gets a chuckle out of me, because so what? We didn't care about them, and apparently it wasn't bad enough for you to actually show us what happened. Whatever, back on topic. I think the biggest change that I can make to the Anbu would be their proximity to the Hokage. And I think the best thing for them would be to actually be closer, like we see it with Danzo sort of, but I think the Anbu should have been the Hokage's personal kill squad, and not necessarily an operation within the village for the village's sake. Like, only the most elite of elite even know the Anbu exist, and when they're not being Anbu, they're regular citizens or even average ninja. Imagine how cool that would have been that one of the underutilized Konoha 12 was secretly an above Kage level assassin, and all the techniques we see them use are actually the weakest form of whatever jutsu just because they have to hold back so much when not doing Anbu missions. But like all things in Naruto, I believe there was a missed potential in what the Anbu could have been, so without much more than that to say, I think I'll wrap it up there. What did you think about the Anbu, and how would you change them? Let me know down in the comments, and if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I appreciate you watching. Until next time, peace.
That thunder on me clap, make a nigga think before he act. Have a nigga dying on his back, then we double back. Shooters leaving rubber where you at. That's why niggas never wanna match.